gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled. Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
Welcome, everybody. It's been a rack, and the crew is here. We got Petey, Superstar,
Calvin Ellis,
and Cal.
He can't keep too many names. He got to start. He only can do two, and after the two, it's over.
We only do this show together.
So today we're going to be talking about the Inhumans. Did you like that trailer or not? I gotta say, I'm not so sure, but I'm gonna pass it on to the boys on the side. Cal, what do you think, my brother?
I actually like the trailer. I saw this image right here, and I said, this looks terrible. Okay? And in terms of the costuming and the outfitting, it's still terrible. It's still terrible. But I think the setup is interesting. I liked when Lockjaw came on, I was like, oh, okay, so they're not gonna totally run away from the comic book aspects. That's cool. I think they have a good choice in who they decided for Maximus. The guy plays Ramsey Bolton from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
from Game of Thrones. Yeah. He played a very good villain on that series. Let's see if he can translate that sort of stuff over here. I think he's losing a bit of it though because he's doing an American accent and it doesn't sound 100% natural on him. But we'll get a chance to see there. They did a little bit of the nuances that I was hoping for, Black Bolt seems to be a lot weaker than he is in the comics.
Way weaker.
So they hit him, and he just flinches, like, huh, and that's enough to make all this disruption because his voice is supposed to be that powerful. Mm-hmm. So the right elements are there. I don't know what the execution is going to be at the end of the day, but the right elements are there. So I'm surprised because normally I see something like what we have over here in terms of that first image, and that first image just made me say reject. But then I saw the trailer, and with the exception of that end thing where they want to have Lockjaw looking cute, I'm like, look, you can only do Baby Groot once. Baby Groot is your cute guy, and you can get away with it.
They can do as long as they have more episodes.
That's pretty much the end of it. I don't know where the other characters are going to come into play. Mm-hmm. Gorgon, Karnak, Crystal, even Medusa. None of them really looked that interesting based on what I saw from the trailer. But Black Bolt and Maximus seem to be where they're supposed to. And it does look, I'm interested. I do want to see some more. I'm not necessarily going to go up for the IMAX thing, but I'm interested.
Interesting. What do you say, Petey?
They're called Inhumans, and they don't look inhuman. So the whole thing is that you have Maximus and you have Crystal, and they should be sort of like the normal ones like Maximus early on is almost looks similar to how Black Bolt would look without a mask, but in the comic he's always has the mask on, and he doesn't have an issue of being hit and then uttering a breath because he fought the thing. So I don't think that should be an issue. It's a cool effect, but someone who's been silent all their life wouldn't necessarily go through something like that. So it looks like it's okay. It's just that since they should play up them being inhuman. Because when you first saw Gorgon, he was like, his legs were like, like horse legs. It was like he had hooves and whatnot. So that's his. And then Karnak, his head was a lot larger. What it seemed, it wasn't just a headdress, like a helmet. It was his head. And then Medusa, when she was the first Inhuman we met, and the hair was always in action. So and then Black Bolt was a sort of a step back because he had all these different powers, and he had the tuning fork on his head, which kept lighting up. So that's similar to having what Lockjaw has. So I think it could be okay. It's just that you don't get the Crystal effect of having Crystal being human and Maximus being human in comparison to the other ones looking inhuman. They're the odd ones. One who's driven mad. He's mad, and then Crystal is just like, this is normal for me. She's like a little girl with all of this. She's like the Princess Diana in this in the royal family.
This mad Tudor's household.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So yeah.
What do you think, Superstar? I mean, just from your thoughts, your initial thoughts on the show.
I don't really know that much about the Inhumans. I've literally just heard about them today, but I think the movie's gonna be pretty good. The special effects were cool. The big dog was cool, and everything seemed like a regular Marvel movie.
Thank you. So, gentlemen, I gotta say, I am totally in disagreement with y'all.
With me?
Now-
You in
now-
disagreement
now,
with
let's
me?
see, let me tell you. Probably the biggest part I have. I
You
agree.
gonna disagree with the kid?
Everybody. So like I said, I kind of
What?
agree with a little bit with you. I kind of agree a little bit with you. I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I like the way the characterization of some of the characters are. I agree that these are not what the Inhumans are. But I think the those who've not read about the Inhumans or know anything about the Inhumans will not come to this and say, what the heck is this? You know what I'm trying to say? They don't know what they're getting. They don't know what to expect. And I don't think the commercial or the trailer did a good job of providing that type of information. You know? So I think most people just gloss over it, it's just another Marvel thing and not think what it is. You know, I think one of the big faux pas, and that's problems that they have with this thing, is the problem is that they should have at least exhibited more of the powers. And you're right about Black Bolt. Black Bolt is one of the most powerful characters, and he's supposed to be extremely disciplined. And the very fact that he would utter a little bit of his power, because his power is based on his voice, it just does not do freaking Black Bolt justice. And I can't agree with this right now. ABC, do a better trailer. That's all I gotta say. So, gentlemen, do we agree with me, or do we have another opinion on this?
What do you mean? Everybody else disagree with you. What are you talking
I
about?
have another opinion.
Thank you.
That the little screening of it said trailer number 1. It wasn't the trailer to represent the whole movie.
I agree, but I think that one of the things when you have a new show is that you need to have something that catches people, and people get to understand what it is. If they're waiting, think of it as you're trying to if you're waiting to unravel this for a long time, they have to be willing to do that.
Well, we got a good dynamic here. He's not familiar with the Inhumans. You are very much familiar with the Inhumans. Are you interested in seeing it based on what you saw in that trailer?
Yeah.
Then they've done their job. This is the person that they want, not old fart like you. They want the young blood over here who's going to come in and watch and get new energy into the whole thing. I don't disagree. However, after you said some stuff, I can't disagree with all of it. But this is something I think comic books are lacking with overall. If you're a long-time reader, most of these things barely scratch the surface of everything that these stories have to offer. And there's always this resistance. We're not going to do the masks. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. They try to make it palatable for television. And on one hand, okay, you got a budget. You can't do all this. You can't do all of the stuff that we would do necessarily in the comic. But a lot of the stuff that you could do in the comic, it's like we're not going to do that either. We're going to try to do some comic book stuff. Maybe give you a whole heap in a soap opera, a little bit of drama, and then hopefully you guys like it, and we can still keep cashing checks. That's disappointing. That is disappointing because in order for them to really do Black Bolt shouldn't be shrieking, from a hit or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. The Inhumans, as Petey said, should look inhuman. Gorgon is supposed to have like horse feet, and Karnak is supposed to have this giant head, and all of these other things that come along with it. But I'll be honest, they have watered it down to the point that I'm like, hey, I'm willing to accept what you put on television because this is what I can expect from television. Nobody wants to go a step further and really try to make those characters and those stories, living, breathing.
But I have to disagree with you because there is a show that has Inhumans in it, and they do show them as how they should be.
What?
And that's Marvel's Agents of
Oh
S.H.I.E.L.D.
no!
You've seen that.
No, they have some that are just like
right.
mutants.
No,
That's
but
what
I'm
they
saying,
do.
but
They've
less
done
said
they've
about
done
Agents
it
of
in
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
mutants.
the better.
Hey, it's a good show.
You're kidding me.
I like that show. It's
We
a
haven't
damn good
done
show.
one show on
On
it.
Agent.
We haven't done one
show.
yet. You haven't
I'm
done a
sorry.
mini rack on it.
I'll do a mini rap. It's
You
a damn
haven't
good
done
show.
it.
I watch it all the time. You know what I'm trying to say?
You're probably the only person who's watching it.
That's what I'm
you
afraid of.
and you and the Disney execs who are keeping that show on.
Well, that's what was it? The other thing I was thinking about it is that
Marvel Shield or
no Black Bolt, alone. This was a big mystery in the comics where he was just silent. But then they had this thing that the Inhumans were trapped on Earth in this negative zone, and he uses his power, but you don't know that that's his power. So this is something they could have built for at least like mid to the climax of the thing of him using this other power because he has so many other powers. When we introduce him, he fights the thing and he does all these things. He has all these tricks that are pretty nice. It's like they were able to hold him not speaking for I think at least to like in the 50s, like in Fantastic. He was introduced in Fantastic Four 46, and
Yeah.
around like maybe like 44, 54.
Right
he starts-
after the whole Galactus thing, we get
yeah,
the Inhumans.
and they start to show what he can really do, and then they show his history in Thor. But that's the thing. You have a mystery. Every comic mystery they throw out. They're just like, oh, the Green Goblin's a mystery. Let's just throw that out. And it's like, you have these mysteries, play him up, because he has enough powers where you don't have to use his, like he has it like a Daffy Duck thing. It's like he got with the gasoline and all that, and a big explosion. You don't give that up on the first, in the trailer. So.
But they're scared of the storytelling. I mean, look at comics as opposed to something like Harry Potter, where Harry Potter, they married themselves as much as they could to those stories that happen in the books, and it works out well. With comics, for some reason, like, no, we can't do that. We have to we'll do an ephemeral version of it, and then we have to try to go our own route with it. And you literally have 50, 60 years worth of storytelling over there. These guys should never be wanting for ideas. They should just be able to go like, what sold well? Okay, this stuff over here.
Yep.
How do we translate it? And that would be the end, and that should be the end of it. And no, every time they have to do something with the comic book, there's always the resistance to doing the story that was in the comic book.
Yeah.
Always resistance to it.
And I gotta say, I thought, again, prior you guys are right. This is how, but Black Bolt, like you said, is so central. Imagine having a major character who never utters a word, but through his actions or through the interpretation of others. I mean, that'd be something different. You know what I'm trying to say? Black Bolt, the way
That was
depicted.
that was Michael Corleone in the last act of Godfather Part 2,
Yeah,
where he
but-
did not speak at all. He communicated simply
Oh,
with
yeah.
shrugs and stuff. I thought that was
That would have been great, powerful.
it was right there.
And
When
that's what I thought they would
yeah.
do with Black Bolt. I mean, but the very fact that, I don't know. I just don't. Look, the first trailer, like Superstar said, it's the first trailer, and hopefully they can turn it around afterwards, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, we are all in agreement. It needs some changes.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to
but
change. This is already in the can.
All right, so I'm just saying for the second
Are
trailer.
we watching it? Yes or no?
Well, after one trailer,
Yes, we're watching it.
It's not
I'm
like a-
watching.
Look, it's not like a first date.
Okay, so it's 3-1. You lose, we win. See you next time.
Ah,
See you next time.
you guys give up so easy.
Spin a wreck out.